Welcome everybody to the social media marketing strategy process. Step 2. Conduct a social media audit. In the previous video, we identified the target market. We learned what are personas, what are they used for, and now we're doing a social media audit. Friendly reminder to read along in the textbook. The 10 steps are outlined in chapter 3. It's easy to read. The chapters are fairly short. But they have a lot of examples. Sometimes they have embedded videos, so you're going to learn the most this way. The video series I'm creating is meant to be as a complement. It's not meant to be replicating the book itself. Rather than going through every single example they mention, I'll focus on the main topics. I'll focus on the most important ideas, and I'll try to explain them in different ways with maybe other personal examples to give you another perspective and hopefully give you different ways of connecting with the material to make it click and hopefully stay. All right, step 2, conduct a social media audit. What is it? Your textbook breaks it down in 3 things, which are similar, they're almost the same, they kind of blend in, okay? Social listening, competitive assessment, SWOT analysis. As I just hinted, these are not mutually exclusive. They kind of blend in. They're like overlap. They're almost the same. They're some same, but different, you know. But don't be scared. But these are the 3 main keywords regarding social media audit you will hear. And also social listening and social media audit are real things that are done in the real world. So you'll be learning valuable skills here. In this video, I'll break it down a little bit different, but it's the same. You'll see in a second. I'm going to talk about listen, organize, analyze, and evaluate. Evaluate what? Data. It's not going to be data, numbers only. You don't have to be a math expert, data analytics expert at all. It's going to be overall data we'll talk about in a second. But this way makes a lot of sense. So let's start off with listening, social listening. What is it? Social media listening. That's anything you can think of that you can look up online on social media or on the internet in general to determine what is being said about a particular brand, topic, or even industry. Examples. You review your comments. You review your mentions. Okay. You're going to follow conversations about your brand. Why do you want to do that? Maybe you can steer the conversation. You realize if the sentiment is going down for your brand or a particular product, you have to be aware of that. And why? What is going on exactly? Watch hashtags, keep track of competitors, customers, and prospects. Okay, this sounds very complicated, very complex, especially if you're a big company. In the real world, a lot of social media tools are used to gather this data for you. You discover what consumers are saying about your brand. You have maybe some trends. Okay, you're not looking for the outlier. You're not looking to analyze every single mention, every single post. It's more about analyzing and discovering patterns together. Basically, you want to have a big picture view of what's going on. So we're looking for patterns and opportunities. So hopefully we can listen to it with a neutral kind of third person view, outside perspective to the social talk about your brand or product or service, including industry and competitors always. All right. So the audit doesn't need to be capturing every single mention ever from your brand, especially for a big brand. That's impossible. It should more gather a complete picture. Benefits. Why do we want to do that? Think about it. We want to measure performance. What performance? Performance from yourself, meaning how did our posts regarding new products do over time? Do we need to adjust something? Maybe one platform is going down. What's the reason? How are our competitors doing on that platform? And you can also benchmark against competitors, other industries, other products from yourself. Make sure they don't compete against each other too much. You have a nice complement of products, as an example. You're going to manage reputation, be part of the conversation. Be there if people complain too much about something. You can be there and help them out. Third point, identify challenges, trends, and opportunities. This is a big keyword. Identify patterns and opportunities is a big keyword. And help set strategic benchmarks for the future. Okay, don't be scared of the word benchmarks. The only thing that means is to hit specific numbers, quantifiable for the future. whatever metric it may be. I think in chapter 18, we'll talk about social media analytics. So if you need to know conversion rates, engagement rates, whatever metric it is, you can set these benchmarks for the future so you have something to work forward towards on, okay? There's just a few example of benefits, a lot of benefits. Social media listening is immensely, immensely important. After that, we listened, we watched, we read. We have to organize and put this data somewhere. Your textbook says it as well. You can use a spreadsheet, you can use Excel or whatever software you want to organize the data. You have to write it down. You have to write it down somehow. One way of doing it, there's not one specific correct way of doing it. A lot of paths lead to Rome, meaning a lot of ways of doing the same thing in different ways. Here's one example where we do a spreadsheet and we ask ourselves the W questions, such as who, where, what, when, why. Who, as an example, is our company. As an example, let's say we work for Buhi. Buhi Brands is the company from your Symptomship you will work for the Symptomship as a Mimic social. Then, where are we posting? What are the main social media platforms? I only listed 4 here. There's obviously more, but I'm just as an example. We post on these social media platforms. What are we posting on each platform? Are we using Instagram only to post reels? Are we using X only to update, do some updates, news, customer service? What are we using TikTok for, YouTube, and so on? You gotta be detailed. When or how many times frequency, you can do both. Are we posting on each platform? It's important to keep track of that on average. And why? What is the big reason? Why are we posting on Instagram? Are we promoting products only there? That's the main reason. For TikTok, is it just for awareness? Awareness means just putting our name out there, people getting to learn our name and product. Or we want traffic, conversions to our website, to the product, to whatever, through YouTube videos. What is the reason we post on this channel? And you want to do this about yourself, your own brand, your own company, your own product. About your consumers, here you can be general or you can break it down between persona 1, persona 2. You can be as detailed as you want. And super important, competitors. What are the main competitors from Buhi doing? What are they using Instagram for? How many times are they posting it? What's the main reason they use it? What's the why, when, what, where of our competitors? Okay. Then that's organizing the data. Super important as much as possible. You're looking for trends here. You're looking for averages. Then we have to analyze. Analyze how? One example in the spreadsheet you could do. It's not a correct way. There's one thing, one example I can show you as an example. In the real world, they do that. You can use a 5-point scale or any kind of scale to mark each channel as a problem, as a challenge, or opposite, as an opportunity. Okay? As an example, let's say our company posts on Twitter, aka X, twice a day, tweets or posts. Reason we post there is to drive people to our website. Current problem though, why? What is the performance? Few visits, few unique visitors. Maybe this is an opportunity. 3 out of 5 stars. Maybe this is 3 out of 5 stars, okay? Because we have few visits, we have some conversions, I think we can bump that up. We can bump that up how? Looking for trends, looking for posts that did really well, looking what competitors are doing. Maybe there's opportunity here. Versus, we post on Flickr. I don't think your book goes over Flickr at all. You can post high quality pictures there, lossless quality, high quality images. We post 5 times per week though. That's a lot of times. Reason we post, drive to website. Currently though, we have no visits, no unique visitors, no conversions. That's bad. Maybe we compare this data with competitors below and it's the same outlook. They have no conversions, no visits on their website. Meaning 1 out of 5. That's not really a place we want to put our money and effort towards. Flickr, I'm not sure about that. Maybe X, Twitter, Instagram, whatever else might be a place to put our money and time towards. This is a social media audit, okay? When you work for a company and do social media audits, you will realize fast everybody does it different ways. Different metrics are important, depending on industry, depending on product or service you provide. It's going to be very, very different. But social media audits are a real thing, especially if you work maybe as a social media intern somewhere. You might be asked to do the social media audit. And here you can even have a column or row for best posts. You can even add a picture. You can add an image here, images with caption or hashtags that were used because this particular post did so well, or certain particular posts did so well, you want to have them listed here. You can do that as well. So feel free to use your imagination here and be creative when creating social media audits and gather important data that you can compare and see trends and opportunities for yourself, for your consumers, for your followers, and for your competitors. For your competitors, why? You can see why are they using X? How many tweets, how many posts are they doing per hour, per week, per day, whatever. Maybe they have less opportunity than you, or they're doing much better. Why they're doing better? You have to compare it, be able to compare it. So this is gathering the data, okay, and comparing it, analyzing it. Now, finally, we can evaluate the data. As an example, we can evaluate brand engagement. Questions you should ask, hopefully, are you, for example, are your consumers engaging with your brand? Yes or no? Why not? Why yes? Why on certain posts more than others? Why on certain platforms more than others? Is your target market on the platforms you're actually thinking about? Maybe you have to adjust your personas. Maybe you have to adjust your target market here. These are fluid, okay? How are views, likes, comments, and shares on this post, on this quarter, on this website, on this product versus your competitors, versus yourself, versus last year? And have they gone up or down over time? I repeat it here, we're looking for trends and opportunities. If your engagement rate is low, what can you do? I have a ton of followers, okay? But I need help improving social media engagement. What can you do? Just misspell something. And people will be all up in your comment section trying to correct you. As a joke, to break the content down a bit, okay? But we can evaluate it different ways. One way is example, we can calculate engagement rates. We can do that. Let's calculate engagement rates, for example, for this single post. We can, for engagement rates as a repetition, but it's going to come back up in chapter 18. We need interaction number and reach. If you don't know the exact reach, you can use potential reach as well. What is potential reach? This is just how many people follow you. So, how many people follow us? As an example, 991,000. Interactions are comments, reposts, and likes. We can add those up. Easy peasy. These are together 488. Engagement rate is just interactions, 488 divided by potential reach, meaning we have a total engagement rate for this post at least from of 0.05% roughly. Is this terrible? Is this good? You tell me. Why? Why do I say that? Why do I ask it like this? Why do I ask you? Because it depends. Depends. There's not yes or no. We can't say it's terrible, it's good, it's bad. It always depends. Is this the average for this kind of product or service or this kind of posts they're doing for this kind of platform with this kind of industry? This might be average to you, to certain companies, to certain product services. This might be really bad. This might be really good. It always depends. It always varies. That's why sometimes it's super hard to compare engagement rates across industry, even across product or service. It's hard. You want to see trends though. Also, maybe this was posted September 5th. This was maybe taken on September 8th, this data. So there was only 3 days time for people to post, comment, and like. Okay, so the data is already skewed as well. It always depends, careful. The real world, do you have to calculate it manually? Yes and no. Bigger companies usually have social media analytics tools. Smaller companies maybe rely on the free and native options such as Instagram Insights, TikTok Analytics, LinkedIn Analytics, Meta Business Suite, and so on that you'll learn in chapter 18, I believe. Bigger companies usually have, instead of manually calculating everything, they have social media analytics tools. So if you already worked for a marketing firm, maybe you used HubSpot, SEMrush, Hootsuite, What else is out there? Sprout Social and so on. These usually connect automatically to these platforms and automatically show you this performance in a dashboard, so you don't have to manually calculate them. But it's always good to know how to calculate things manually for specific posts, because you can do the data and the analytics yourself. You don't need to pay big companies big money, okay? Another example, United, as an Instagram post, we take the reach again. What is the reach? 588,000. What is the interaction? Just take the numbers of comments and likes as an example. That's 20,000 roughly. So this post has an engagement rate of 3.5%. Okay. This way you can compare your own engagement rates over time and see and realize, okay, every time we had text as a video or as a post, engagement rates are roughly maybe, let's say 3%. Hey, but every time we used an image of a person or a face of a human being, our engagement rates are always higher, around 5%, as an example. So you realize, oh my God, we should stop using just text as a thumbnail at least. We should use people's faces as a thumbnail, as the first image people see to increase engagement. That's why we collect data. That's a big reason. Okay, that's why we collect data. Obviously, these paid solutions, the social media analytics and reporting tools, give you sometimes all this data. Sometimes they even give you strategy insights. So these paid solutions are often why is it worth it? Think about it. A lot of these are linked to your CRM usually, so you see data in one place. You don't have to go between platforms and jump between platforms. All the calculations are done automatically. There's much deeper analytics and metrics. All the reporting is done automatically sometimes on those dashboards. They create PDFs, visuals, charts, reports, no manual labor involved. Biggest thing is it's not just data. Sometimes these paid solutions give you strategic insights, meaning recommendation, so that these websites that you pay can organize, analyze, and almost most important thing, evaluate the data for you and give you some insights. But you still have to realize, is this worth to me as a company, this insight, this recommendation? Yes, no, reason ABC. You still have to know it, okay? The reason behind it. And we have to consider the content. This is a big one. Don't forget that one. I already hinted it earlier in the spreadsheet. You can add your top performing posts to see what you wrote, what kind of hashtags did you use, what kind of caption, what kind of thumbnail. You can also include one of the worst performing posts to see what not to do or why didn't they do well, if you will. So this is a big one. You want to analyze each channel individually. Afterwards, you can also use this data to determine if some of the content might resonate differently or better in another channel or platform or network, how your book calls it. Okay, we can take a look at an example here. We can see posts with high engagement. We can see posts of time of day, time of the week. We can compare those. What kind of keywords we use? What did we write? Let's look at the 3 examples here from United. Left picture has the left post has the highest engagement, highest likes. Okay, that's doing well. We're seeing the likes and comments here compared with this picture on the right. Baby face looks happy. Doing also relatively well. And now we have an odd one in the middle. Engagement much lower. Also, if you noticed, out of these 3 pictures, obviously, out of these 3 posts, it's the only video. It's the only video post we made. Okay, so maybe we have to compare this metrics with other videos instead. See if there's a trend, if all videos are performing worse compared to pictures. Or if this is just an odd post. Maybe this thumbnail of an image didn't resonate with people. Maybe we used the wrong hashtags compared to the pictures left and right. Maybe time of day wasn't the best and week. Maybe just maybe. So, but you have to know, you have to think about this. That's why you need the data. Maybe this was posted on Monday, 10 a.m. The left post, right post, Tuesday, 11 a.m. as an example. And this one in the middle is the only odd one. It's posted Sunday 1 p.m. So maybe we know and see a trend. Hey, all posts on Sunday do badly. Maybe we shouldn't post on Sunday anymore, just as an example. But in your social media audit, you want to be as much detail as possible and consider the posts themselves as well. And careful cross-comparing between platforms doesn't do so well sometimes because different platforms have different best practices, different target market is there, different people use different platforms. So you're going to have to adjust based on platform, your tone and your voice, which we'll talk about in another step of the social media strategy. Just something to think about. To wrap it up, SWOT analysis. Friendly reminder, test question for you. What means SWOT? What does it stand for? What is the S again? Strength. There you go. What is the W? What's the opposite of S? Weakness. There you go. What's the O? Opportunities and threats. Hopefully, this is now in your brain from your Principles of Marketing class. If not, friendly reminder. Here, strengths and weaknesses. Once again, this is what we've got, meaning these are internal. Sorry about my handwriting. I'm writing here with a mouse. I can write with a mouse. Opportunities and threats are what? What's out there, meaning these are external factors. Okay, you heard these before in the Principles of Marketing class, but how does this relate to social media marketing? Okay, let's look at a few examples. I got these straight from your book. I'm not going to go over every single example, but just look at some. And why are these internal? Why is the strength, for example, why is this internal? What does internal mean? For example, we have a strong brand presence across multiple social media platforms. Guess what? If we don't have it, we can do it. It's a check mark. We can do it or work towards it and do it. Social media posts are consistent with brand guidelines. Guess what? It's internal. We have guidance over that. We can adjust that. We can fine tune that. We can steer the ship. High number of followers. Do we have it or not? Guess what? We can work towards it and have a check mark later. Okay. High posting frequency. That's in our hands and so on. This is a strength as a social media marketing strategies. Okay. Weakness goes hand in hand. It's also something we can adjust. It's internal weakness. Okay. Company lacks social media management tool to manage social media marketing efforts. Guess what? We can create these, we can buy these, we can get these. Company's action do not often result in the desired outcome on social media. Guess what? We can fine tune our actions. We can fine tune them. Content not catered to a target demographic. That's our problem. That's our us problem. Guess what? We can work towards it and then get a check mark at the end. That's something we can do. Okay, and adjust. That's a weakness, internal. External opportunities, highly important to figure out opportunities in your market. Example, target market makes 95% of purchase decisions online. Wow, hopefully we can leverage on that for social media marketing efforts. Hopefully we can leverage on that to what? To make some money, obviously, as a business. Okay, this will be a big opportunity for us. And so on. You can go down the list yourself so you will realize some opportunities, also some threats. These are also external. Maybe there's high competition, competitors pursuing aggressive social media advertising strategy. It's external. We don't have influence over that. That's why it's called external. Competitors' product services offering are superior. That's a threat for us, obviously. Also external. We don't have much influence over what they are doing. However, we can respond if we are aware of it. We can be like, careful. They're offering something new, something innovative. Maybe we want to jump on that ship as well. We can steer, we can adjust things. Hopefully make a out of a threat. Hopefully we can create it into an opportunity. This will be a goal, but this is just for you to think about. SWOT analysis, review those, read through those. There's a few examples here. The chapter is super short. All right, that was step 2, conducting a social media audit. Super important step that is done in the real world all the time. We could spend hours and days talking about this step alone, but we'll keep moving on. In the next video, we'll talk about step 3, which is establishing goals, objectives, and metrics.